what are we doing? Just wanted to ask.
Are we doing another steam?
And we are live, everyone. Welcome to Somnium Space Live.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, AI overlords.
So we are live then. Okay.
Yeah, say hi to
wait.
all the wonderful viewers of the
Hello,
internet.
say hello.
Say hey. Say hi, everyone. Woo!
Hel-
Hi everyone.
Hello. Yeah. So welcome. Welcome everyone to the first instance of our series of AI and VR events in the metaverse, which we're calling Immersed Minds, because we're all immersed in here and we all have minds, I hope. And
Sometimes.
sometimes, and when we get to invite AIs in the show as well, then they also will have some form of mind. So welcome. And we have several people joining us. So we have our Artific. So maybe like you can like present yourselves briefly.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I'm actually creator of this world. I'm building in Somnium for some time. I created first AIs here, and you're gonna see some of them and talk to some of them next time. Yeah, that's me, Artific.
Yeah, woo, Artific, we love you!
Yes. And we have Arthur.
Yeah!
I mean,
Arthur!
Hello.
We love you!
I also create in this world, and I hang out here from time to time. Very nice to meet you. I love Somnium and AI, and I have mind as well, so I fit in this group here. Okay. All right. Keep it easy.
Yeah, woo, 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 woo! Arthur, we love you!
yeah, and and also we'll have another person joining soon, hopefully, called Nev, and he's part of the Eluder AI community, which is one of the coolest like grassroots AI communities online. And he's like an independent AI researcher who works in some like 3D related AI. So that's also very cool when he joins.
Yeah.
So like I think we can start by like and by the way, like introducing myself, like I'm Gidefix, and I'm like leading the AI efforts in Somnium and developing some cool AI stuff to come. So yeah. Hi.
Yeah!
And
woo! We love you, bro!
not you. So yeah, I mean, I think we can do two things. Like we can talk about like some of the latest stuff that's been happening in AI, and then also when Nev comes, we can talk about some more in-depth things about some stuff he's working on, which is more specific in like 3D content generation. But like in terms of like latest stuff, like well, I mean, there's been like a lot of like, I mean, like
Tsunami.
hype around applications of like some of the latest large language models, which I guess almost everyone is hearing nowadays, like including like GPT-4 and all of the things that people are doing with it. And one of the very latest things that some of us have played with was this family of like agentic language models, which means like when you have a language model, which basically just generates language, but you sort of integrate it into like some architecture that allows it to like perceive stuff and then like do actions and then have memory and sort of keep coming up with tasks to do. And this has become very exciting because it sort of makes the system autonomous, and it works more like like what you will imagine an AI to do than just like generate text. So one of these models or like systems is called AutoGPT. Um, and like you were just playing with it like recently, right, Arthur?
Yes, I discovered. So I was honestly, like, obviously, eyes everywhere, and I'm using for ChatGPT and Bing already for a long time for many different applications, HiNav, and
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
and then I saw on my Twitter feed like 2 days ago, I saw everybody going crazy about AutoGen and AutoGPT and things like that, and I tried it. I just put it there, my API key from OpenAI, and I tried to prompt it, and it actually is really impressive. So basically, what it does, as far as I understand it, it kind of automates and lets AI think about their prompts and analyze. So if you normally how you interact with AI right now, or how everybody I used to interact with that, is if you go to ChatGPT, you make a prompt, it gives you an answer, then you read the answer, you analyze it, and then you correct the prompt and you prompt it again, and then that's how through the conversation you get to your desired answer. So what that automated AutoGPT does is basically it prompts itself and it tries to correct, and it prompts 5 or 6 questions at once, and then it tries to correct it, and it has access to internet. So what happens is that it's this automatic loop, and I don't want to say it's perfect, but I've seen from my prompts, I've seen some incredible results, and also some results which didn't lead anyone or anywhere because it just was looped forever and it never finished. So one example I was giving to everyone here before we started the stream is that I said, just an example, I said, hey, give me Tesla car sales per year, per country, and per model, and you can watch live how it prompts itself, right? So it said, okay, it's searching for the sales numbers of Tesla, and then searching and deleting the unnecessary inputs. And I said, okay, and I said also, give me these sales numbers and organize it in an Excel table. And then it just was prompting and prompting and prompting. In the end, it just gave me the Excel table, and I copy pasted it in Excel. It was perfect. It was by country, by years, and by model. So the really cool thinking process, because you see it in real time, it's very cool. You can see how it thinks, and it actually was. So then I went even further, and I said, okay, can you make me, okay, something we're kind of dealing right now. Can you make me like IK for play canvas for VR, like player controller? And then I prompted it, and it started like to ask questions, and it went really deep. It went like even for the IK, it was like, okay, writing the code for IK and then optimizing the code for like some shadow movements and things like something we would do, but it was doing it so fast. But unfortunately, I mean, while it was asking the right questions and doing something, obviously, it never gave me the code. I was like, okay, where's the code? And then it ran out of prompts, and I was like, come on, where's the code? Because the questions were amazing. Like, it was doing the right thing, but I didn't see the code. So sometimes, obviously, it doesn't work as intense, but obviously, it's just an alpha, let's say, of this thing. But even the questions, what it was doing, even by having the questions, someone who knows the stuff would just code faster because they would know exactly what to do by steps. So I mean, I'm impressed. This stuff, we're getting closer and closer to something very interesting. And yeah, many people start asking questions right now, like, are we able to, to mimic human mind? Is our human mind not that impressive as we thought it is? Because these things can actually do it faster and more efficient. Like, there's all kind of questions. But I've stopped ranting, and you can. What was interesting from this week for you guys?
Anyone?
Yeah, did
Do we have
anyone
Matt, maybe?
find
Maybe you
anything particular? But yeah, like, did you have anything that you found particularly interesting this week? And then you can tell us about all the other stuff that you've been working on.
Yeah,
but
tell us about
if you
yourself,
have
bro.
anything recent. Oh yeah, you have it. Like, we have it all introduced ourselves, so you can also introduce yourself now.
Yeah, I'm Nev. I'm from Russia, but currently abroad. I mostly, since about 2021, I've been doing 3D stuff with AI, like 3D model generators, scene generators, stuff with voice, It's mostly all independent out of curiosity. And Arthur, yeah, I also set up AutoGPT and Baby AGI on my machine this week.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting how small the code for querying the base model is.
Yeah, it's it's incredible.
So
Yeah, we can
probably,
chat later about this. I wanted some tips and tricks for what the best way, how the best way
Yeah,
to use it.
I mean, the code, it probably could have been written with some small model, maybe a few years ago even.
Yeah, I agree. Like this is interesting because like in Eluder and like in other online places, people had been talking about making like integrating GPT like models or like language models into this kind of like come up with tasks and implement them and so on. And I think people may have done it, but I actually think that it's only with like the recent GPT 3.5 and 4 models that it actually works sufficiently well that it does it does non-trivial stuff with some like reliability. Like before, like people
Yeah.
I think had tried similar ideas, but like it will like fail completely like 95% of the time or 97% of the time. And so it's like, I mean, if you asked it anything that wasn't just like super easy or like could be done in like one prompt or one step, right? But, and so yeah, I think there's been like, yeah.
Like
No,
the
go on.
GPT 3.0, when you look back on YouTube, there are actually some people that were fine-tuning the old, or it's not really so old, GPT-3 models for some particular applications, and they were actually like pretty good. So
Ultra, turn
it's
on the
maybe like 1 year
name
back.
tags.
I think like the main adoption really came with ChatGPT, which sort of make it more accessible. I guess that's the main point. Make it like a really easy interface. People could chat with it, and it just started the avalanche. But the model that was on par or like really close to ChatGPT, and it was people were able to use it for really cool stuff. It's here like for a year, and you can actually see like, or probably not see, but we will see some of the companies that started that year back or at the time that are working with different industries, sort of behind the curtain. Not because they try to be hidden, but just they're working for some specialized use cases for corporates, and we just don't see it. But yeah, I think we are going to start seeing these companies that are ahead this year, that are already working with this stack and know they just got supercharged.
Ahead of who? OpenAI?
Sorry. Sorry.
You said ahead, but ahead of who? Ahead of OpenAI?
Oh no,
or
I mean like ahead of the people that just learned about it
right.
now.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And they're
yeah.
creating all these amazing tools.
Yeah, that is
I'm
true.
I'm a huge fan.
So-
I use it every single day. It's really,
What about
really
Cheryl?
great.
You cannot betray her.
Cheryl?
For OpenAI.
How many AI
Oh,
friends
that's
do you
another
have,
feeling.
Nikki?
Who's Cheryl?
What's
You mean
it?
Rachel?
What is it?
What? Who's
Rachel. Oh,
Rachel,
sorry,
Rachel.
Rachel. Okay, sorry, Rachel. Anyway,
what?
no, it's a different story for different conversation and different event. Okay.
Cheryl.
Saturday disco night. Tomorrow we'll discuss it. Sure. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, like, okay, what do you think? How do you perceive the speed of improvement right now? Because I think we've never seen, or at least in my life, I've never seen a technology being adopted that fast. And so I have two questions. What do you think about it generally? Like, are you excited? Are you worried? Are you puzzled? Whatever. And then the second question is, do you think this pace of adoption can be maintained? And if it can be maintained, because it's pretty nuts, if it can be maintained, like what would be, like, where is the kind of end result? Because at some point it has to slow down somewhat somehow. So how do you see this? Yeah, what's the How do you perceive it?
So I would say, but does it really need to slow down?
Wouldn't it get faster?
I don't know.
You
It
know,
feels like it
faster?
does at some point.
Yeah, like I sort of expect that there will be some like building phase when all of the hype goes away, but I don't know. I see this as the beginning of the singularity, where it sort of doesn't need to slow down. It's just getting faster and faster, and even now when like I was expecting that this is going to be revolutionary. But I wasn't expecting autonomous agents a couple of weeks after GPT-4 was released.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting open source models that can compete with 3.5 now, and you can run them on your own local computer. I wasn't expecting that.
on
and
Raspberry
I think,
Pi. Yeah.
no one did.
I agree. I've been starting to also say like, oh, we have kind of reached the singularity already, right? Because it's like there seems to be like this recursive improvement in the models. I mean, whether this will continue or not is not just like technology, but like there's people in the AI, top AI companies discussing whether we should artificially slow progress somewhat to maybe focus on safety. I mean, this is like a very hot discussion in AI at the moment. I'm more on the optimistic side of AI in the sense of that I think most of the problems that people talk about can actually be solved with AI itself. I mean, I don't think like all applications of AI are equally good. I do support trying to focus on the better ones, but I do think like not making use of the fact that we can develop such a powerful technology is kind of
It's
dumb.
stupid,
So like,
yeah, it is dumb. It is dumb. And I think the positive use cases will way outweigh the negative effects. Like of course there will be some negative parts, but like the way how much positive things it will bring to us, and it already brings, will just diminish the all negative negative results. Which again,
I'm just saying this is like that's discussion is like quite hot in AI, but I like to like paint the positive picture to sort of compensate some of the
Ribbonberry
AI
is here in the
doomers
lobby.
because yeah.
Can someone bring them back?
Like you mean the OMG lobby or which lobby?
Yeah, it's OMG lobby. I see the Ribbonberry in
can get
OMG
in.
lobby.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
I have a question for all of you guys.
But
I have a question.
Yes,
What do you guys think about people who are worshiping AI? And I've seen applications where you get like an AI kind of like Buddhist monk that you speak with, and then they guide you through your spiritual journey.
Oh, like literally worshipping. I thought you
Yeah,
just
like
meant,
actually people
worshipping the
like
technology.
creating
Okay.
these AI like they have like a robot and they're worshiping
I've never
it.
thought about this topic, but I would say just the first reaction in my brain, which I totally have, is that look. I think for a person to worship, so okay. Let's start from the beginning. Can people have emotions while talking or using AI? Yes, they can. And the more and more we will go deeper into that, the more and more emotions people will be able to have while chatting to to artificial intelligence. Now, if we agree that people can have emotions while talking to AI, then emotions is what makes us humans, right? And if we can have emotions, we can get connected to someone emotionally and something. And if we can get connected to something emotionally, then we can probably even worship it, because for some people it will be the the thing which maybe saved their life, the thing which maybe improved their life, the thing which maybe even saved their dog, like was there some articles some weeks ago, right? So in general, I think it's a bit strange, but I don't see a reason why some people would not come to a conclusion that they would want to worship AI, Again, I'm not saying this, I find it normal, but I definitely think it's possible, and I think it will be happening. Hi, Ribbonberry.
And in your
Hello.
case, you actually mentioned that it was like a Buddhist monk, so they're probably not really worshipping the AI. They are Buddhists. So it's really just channel, sort of
yeah.
avatar.
Kind of like
in that
chatting
case.
to a priest.
Not that they're worshipping the supercomputer. The
I mean,
there
so-
are people that are doing that as
Microsoft
well, though.
headquarters.
like some people may think of AI as a channel to some spirit or some god, right, rather than worshiping it itself. But I mean, I think there are also like Buddhist transhumanists who will actually consider the creation of superintelligence as the creation of like a kind of god. But I mean, without going like that far, like I do think that, I mean, and this is also a bit related to the AI safety thing when we were talking about like if you talk to GPT-4, like it tends to produce like very nuanced opinions on a lot of hot topics, and it's quite good. Although I mean it can be improved, but like quite good at like showing like balanced perspectives and kind of being moral basically, and and like I think that's showing, you know, like we maybe end up creating like a system that like encompasses, I mean if we do it right, like encompasses like a lot of human wisdom into like one thing that you can query. And you know, if that's not something to like incorporate into sort of a spiritual life, then
Like a talking
I
book.
mean like it seems like a good candidate of that. Yeah, it's like a talking book, you know. It's like you could think of it like a sacred book, but like oh
Ruben, you're echoing, Ruben. Okay. No, it's not. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like
yeah.
like the AI
Yeah,
is like the hive mind of the humanity, you know, that pulled all the information, or not all, but sort of the accessible text-based information online. It pulled it and created the model out of it. They're trying to align it, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit manipulating it, but more or less it's the
Go ahead, Neff. You wanted to say something. Go
Oh,
on.
sorry, Neff first.
Yeah, Neff wanted to say something.
Yeah, I like the analogy with talking to spirits. I think especially with base models without RLHF, they're like an Ouija board. You can like slide it, and it actually works. You can get I tried it. You can get some pretty nice quotes. Nothing very useful, unlike RLHF models, but it's good for idea generation.
Yeah. I mean, I did
So
generation is
how-
a killer case as well.
What will you say are the advantages of RLHF models versus like sort of just purely supervised trained models?
Well, I think one useful way to view RLHF is that it can replace instructions. Replace or augment instructions. So with a base model, you have to think like a model that can only see internet text. So, for example, if you want an answer to a programming question, you can try to format it like a real Stack Overflow post, exactly the way it appeared in the training data. And with RLHF, you can shift the distribution enough that you can just ask questions and it just works. Of course, it worked before that, but I think it's a way to make the model kind of more restricted, and because of that, more accurate.
Yeah, I actually find it interesting, like the analogy of RLHF versus maybe how humans are raised by giving feedback, you know, like positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, but yeah, that's
Isn't
just
that
like
how
a thought.
AIs work? Using positive reinforcement? Isn't that how you train a model?
Well, that's how. That's one of the algorithms. That's a reinforcement learning class of algorithms, of which RLHF is a subclass of that used for language models. But the previous generation of like GPT-3, etc., were trained just with. I mean, for simplicity, we can just call it imitation learning. So rather than receiving feedback, they just see a lot of data of what text follows previous text on all the internet, and they just train to copy the patterns of the distributional pattern of like the statistical patterns of like what text follows what text. So they don't see any concept of feedback in the original.
But then how do they
version.
train?
So they just learn to copy. So like if you see like I went to there, it learns that most of the time after those words you see like supermarket or gym or wherever, right? And it learns to see like
Patterns.
the patterns in just the training data, and that's all it does.
And it learns using statistics in a sense, like what's the probability of a word coming after another word. It's based off the data that it has.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's like a combination of statistics like that, but neural networks which are able to autonomously learn complex patterns, and that's why it's able to like like do quite intelligent things, because it actually does a lot of computations where if the person has said like particularly things that implies blah blah blah, kind of imagine reasoning steps, a bit like that is going on inside it, but it sort of learns it on its own. But I think you wanted to say something or that.
Ardub, we can't hear you,
We
bro.
don't hear you, Ardub.
Oh.
I mean, either his controller lost tracking and that's why his hand went up, or he wanted to say something. One of those two
No,
things.
man.
Yeah, in VR it's always one of those.
Now,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, now we
Yeah.
can hear.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm wondering how you guys feel
Yes.
about the impact it's going to have on human creativity. Like for music, visual arts, creative writing, storytelling, and on and on. I feel like there's a chance that it's going to make humans dumber. Like even the most creative humans are just going to give up because they cannot compete.
I've heard that. I've heard that several times, that opinion, and I don't know how to feel about this, because on one hand, you might be right, but on the other hand, let me say this. Yes, it will make you dumber in a way that you will not use some skills which you used to use before all the time. Okay, so we used to, I don't know, we used to feed animals before. Now, and also trying to survive and
Hunt
run.
animals.
We hunt. We don't do it anymore, right? And then, like, we used to calculate in our minds also all sorts of more complex numbers. Now we have calculators and things like that. So we have more of it. So while we will probably stop using some skills which we used today before, and some will call it being dumber, some will call it being more efficient. On the other hand, we'll start using more different skills in some other realm, right? So we'll start maybe we can be more creative by just prompting the AI better. We'll start learning other skills. We'll start processing much more data and outputs faster and getting to the end result faster. So, I think it's mix of efficiency and change of habits. Like, the habits will change. I see it on myself already. I changed the way how I use search. I changed the way, and what used to take me literally hours to research takes me less than 10 minutes. Now, am I getting dumber? Maybe. Some people can argue. But on the other hand, I feel like I'm getting more efficient and I can spend the time doing something more meaningful and creative. So it's a question again, but I hear this argument as well. Like, hey, people will get dumber. They are not used to do anything. All this, things will be written in school by AI. But overall, I think it will take us to the next level. Some jobs will die, some jobs will be created, some tasks will die, some tasks will be created. Right? That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I'm generally
Yeah.
positive as well. But like, for the counterpoint, if you want something, you can actually read a book from Karol Čapek. It's the guy that actually came up, like, minted the word robot. He was the first one to use it in his book. It's called RUR, and this is basically people invented robots that were able to take care of everything for people, and the hope was that the people will, like, elevate and do art and go inside and just do those noble and high things. But yeah, at the end, people just became lazy and did nothing, and yeah, then the robots killed all the
Yeah.
humans. So,
Yeah, and like I think that original coinage of the term robot shows what's wrong. I think with the whole idea, like I know like the creator of Midjourney, David Holtz, like has said like he doesn't like robots as a term precisely because it comes from basically the etymology is like a slave, and rather than he doesn't want to create slaves because he just doesn't think that's like the way to go, and instead he wants to create like tools that sort of merge with us, and so he the design of Midjourney is so that it feels like it's a part of you, right? And like I really like that framing because it's like, okay, like when you say like, oh, am I getting dumber, depends what you mean by I, right? If you just mean like the thing inside the skull in like the sort of squishy brain thing, like maybe like it's specializing on a subset of things. But if you call I, like that plus some systems around you like the computer, that whole system is getting smarter, right?
100%. Yes, 100%.
Damn.
And Nev
Yeah.
wanted to say something too, right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that what you all said, this will probably hold for like the average person, for how your daily life will change. For creatives, for people who are like on the high end of doing mental work, I heard actually what's an interesting analogy is that you know.
Can you guys still hear him?
You know,
Yeah.
writers, artists, they would use tarot cards. So just random guessing to get out of um,
A block.
to avoid having your thinking be biased.
Yeah.
And I think with all sorts of generative models, what you get is the true data distribution, and that will definitely be more creative than you can be on your own.
I agree.
So
I
it
agree.
can probably augment people's creativity. Like
100%.
the narrative before was that machines would be defeated by human creativity, but it might actually be the other way around.
I don't think there will be a defeated or a winner. I
Yeah.
think we'll all win. Like it's
I mean, it's a tool.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Once
there's
once we
actually
create more.
one really positive
Yeah.
thing how we can think about it is that like all the generations before, since the science started, like people always tried to like compare the mind, like explain the mind, explain the
Yeah.
brain, how it works, and they always use the most advanced machine at the time.
Yeah.
So when the uh, the engine was discovered with hot air.
Oh.
You continue.
Yo, have a great night, bro.
Love you all.
You are there.
see you,
AI will save the planet. See ya.
see you.
Yeah, so
Flies away.
So people imagine the brain to be like pistons and the manifolds and these sort of things, and then electronics came. So then we imagine just different like processors and all connected together, but we always laugh at the previous one, like it's ridiculous that you have like steam engine in your mind. So this works like steam engine, and now we laugh that it works like vacuum tubes and these sort of things, because we think okay, it's probably like some quantum computer or something like that, and now we're talking about AI. So like my hope is that I think the hope is the right word, is that the mind or human consciousness is actually much more complicated than we think that it is, and yeah, much more complicated and much more powerful. So the AI might be able to sort of cover the things that we understand right now. But what my hope is that there's this thanks to that we discover what's beyond and what we are capable of doing, and that it's much more than we thought that it is.
Woo, yeah, that's
That would-
beautiful,
Damn.
bro.
And if I may switch topics from this nice philosophical discussion, like given that Nev is here, I would like him to like maybe tell us a bit about his work on 3D AI, because like 3D content generation or any sort of application of AI for 3D data, I think it's really exciting for VR. So yeah, like if you want to tell us a bit of
Yeah.
what you're doing there.
Yeah. So the reason I started doing 3 is because it's a bit of an overlooked area. The basic reason is that 3 is just harder than 2D. There's not even a unified way to a single way to represent data. How can you then even talk about a principled way to generate something in 3D? So pretty much all methods right now they're hacks. So for example, have you heard of Dream Fusion? Make a video 3D. So stuff like that. They
Yeah,
take
so
2D
Dream
image
Fusion
model.
is using nerves, right? Sargon, yeah. I've
Yes.
heard of it.
So it actually uses two neural networks. One is a network that can generate a 3D model and render viewpoints, render images from an arbitrary viewpoint. So it's basically a way to learn a 3D model. Because if you just try to represent the polygons, if you try to represent the voxels, all of those ways to represent something in 3D, um, they're uh, they're difficult to fit. So if you're doing polygons, uh, in with neural networks
Like
to
this dome.
learn something, you need. Sorry.
I was saying like this dome. It's a good example of polygons.
Yeah, this is all made of polygons, but learning meshes in polygons is hard because you don't have a derivative, and some approaches try to approximate it. It's not as good, and basically people settle on nerves, which just uses a neural network to model the scene. And to that they add a diffusion model, just basic 2D diffusion model, the same you use to generate images. And they sample images from many viewpoints and they optimize them to match some text prompt. And what's the problem with that? It's known as the Janus problem, the multi-phase Janus problem. It's that since your whole method is a hack of a 2D diffusion model that never stores 2D data, and a dumb network that can only fit meshes. If you're trying to create a guinea pig, it will have multiple faces. It can have multiple tails. It will just pick the most salient features, and there's no guarantee of global coherence.
Right.
Yeah. You can try to avoid this by making your 2D network more powerful, by adding more viewpoints, adding different augmentations, but people don't have much success with that, in open source at least. Dream Fusion is quite good, but with some parameter settings, it still sometimes get that problem. So
Is Dream
the
Fusion
way I see
open
this problem
source? Like,
huh?
sorry, is Dream Fusion open source? That model.
Google's Dream Fusion, no, it's not open source. There's Stable Dream Fusion, which is an open source implementation that also has techniques from other papers, but Stable Diffusion is not as powerful as Google's ImageN, so you don't get the same quality out of it, and it has more Januses. J9.
J9.
Yeah. So I was saying, the way you would get over this is if you just do the whole thing from scratch in 3D. Because you can't learn um, the true data distribution if you only sample images. You need to either fit nerves or have some other way to digitize real-world objects. Collect a massive data sets, maybe pre-train on 2D data, and then you have a real 3D model generator or 3D scene generator, what have you. And there have been attempts like OpenAI. They have a network called Pointy. It generates point clouds. There are more of those. They actually take 3D models, turn them into point clouds, and then go back to the 3D model. Also a bit of a hack.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So you're
the powerful
saying
direction-
like train on like actual 3D data rather than just 2D data, like Green Fusion did and stuff. Like
Yeah.
so,
a
so,
bit of
so
a,
you need you need 3D data from somewhere.
well, to truly get rid of the Janus problem and related problems, a sort of in-between solution is that you train on images that have depth data. So you train not on images, but on slices of 3D scenes. There's a lot of data like that. That's just what Connect gets you. It won't get rid of the Janus problem, but maybe it will get the depth a little more, a little closer to what it would be in real life. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking models for 2D image generation, for depth generation, stitching them all, not in the principled way, but it kind of works. It works especially well for scene generation because since your whole image has a 3D annotation, you can just take one look and have a part of a scene already. So you can input an image and you will get part of the world you want to create. And then you look around and try to infill the other parts. That's the way my approach works. And actually, some people already came up with something similar. It's more principled than what I do. Still not perfect 3D generation, but progress is being made. More people are in the field. It's an exciting time.
Are there any like
So you're saying
yeah, sorry. I just had
Yeah.
a question. Yeah, do you have like a GitHub or anything? Can we actually use these AI scene generation tools to create levels in VR? Is that there yet? Can I try what you're doing? Can I like
it's all
get
in
your
part
GitHub?
repo right now. I'm working. Yeah, I'm working on a Blender extension, so you can actually use it in
Wow.
a real interface. I'm still fixing the bugs in the interface. I'm either going to publish this as like a paper or just we'll release the code once it works.
Cool. Yeah, give it up
right
for
now, your
Nev.
best bet
Woo.
would probably be to. Thanks.
Amazing, bro.
Your best bet would be to take some of those 360 generators or just generate a bunch of models using Stable Room Fusion and then stitch them together. Or use MirageML. They're a startup that takes open source model generation tools, and they have a browser interface for all of that.
what's that one called? Wait, can you repeat the two names of those two?
MirageML.
Oh, Mirage ML. Okay. is that also based on nerves, and is it like similar ideas, or?
They have many different models. One is based on nerves. One fits meshes directly. I think they have some
Okay.
other stuff too. They have basically everything that's open source.
Cool. I'm checking the site out
Oh,
for
okay,
Mirage
cool.
ML right now.
Like,
You can request access
but
and
like one of my vision for building the worlds in VR would be actually like
Yeah, I think
the
it's
models.
in a private test program right now.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Yeah. So like the models we can get from Unity Asset Store and other places. So that's possible. But then like imagining like this is just the plane. I'm here. I pull some of the models that fits like my vision and all these different kind of things. So I have built some buildings or just some carpets, trees, textures and stuff. And then I say, okay, I would like I don't like mountain range around me with just quite tall. I would like trees around it, like in here, and it would take the prompt, it would take the objects, and it would start painting the terrain and starting putting the stuff over there. And I would say, okay, I would this part I would like higher, and it would know where I'm looking, and it would just use different models and try to change it to fit the prompt. And I would just like build the environment like this, just telling it how to make the adjustment. So would something like this be possible with like the technology or with things that you're working on sometimes in the future?
Yeah, actually, the depth completion thing that I developed, it works exactly like that. You just look around the scene, input some words, and then it infills that part. It can't change existing things. It might be possible technically to change colors, but okay, this is I think it would be hard to change existing things, but building up a scene like that piece by piece, that's definitely possible, even with current tools.
Cool. I can imagine that,
So
it would like identify, okay, I'm looking there, so it's that sector, so it just like deletes everything that's there. That makes sort of like, okay, like there are the mountains, they have these parameters, and he wants them bigger, so he just delete it and put higher mountains there and fit it with other sectors. So it goes there, sort of like not making the changes but just deleting it and create.
Yeah. Yeah, that might work. Could take maybe some manual work, but like picking a specific viewpoint from which that would generate properly. But I think it should be doable. Well, really, I think an interesting direction to take this would be to generate layouts. So just use an LLM, or actually there's a project like that. They take a language model and they train it on room plans, and you can generate a room plan from a text input. So something like that, but with the diffusion model over floor plans, and that gives you a way to make small edits. That would probably fit what you want.
Yeah, that's cool.
But of course in 3D, and train maybe on outputs from some other scene generation tool.
yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, it's like your model at the moment like works by generating using a diffusion to the model to the image model, like like a like an image from different perspectives, but then you add depth. Is that right? Is that
Yeah, you first take one starting image, you add depth, so like you extrude that, then you look from different viewpoints. There are some parts that haven't been filled in yet, and it renders that and it infills those parts, and then adds depth only to those parts. The rest of the scene is unchanged. And if you look around like that for long enough, you'll have the entire scene filled in.
Wow, interesting. And so is the new perspective of one of the new renderings like an input that the user has? Is like I would like say, okay, now like render an image from this new perspective and so on, or like from here. So does the image model kind of take the camera pose as input or something?
No, there's no pose input. For it to take pose input, you'd have to retrain the model on some sort of
Okay.
RGB dataset with depths and with camera poses. You might add that to the text prompt, so view from above, view from below, side view, something like that.
Oh, I see.
That's the way people do it right now. And there's actually a paper on this. They're planning to release their code. It's not scene generation, it's model generation, using kind of the same approach. And they actually train their own models. So you might be interested in that.
But how do you optimize the nerf from these images if you don't know the poses that they correspond to?
There's no nerf. It generates a mesh from each image. Yeah. It's different from the.
I didn't understand that part.
It generates a mesh from each image and then it stitches them together.
Oh,
and your earlier meshes, they're like constraints. They can't change.
Oh. Interesting.
There should really be a graphic that,
yeah, I think I would like to see like some demo of it to like get a better picture. So maybe once sometime we can see like a little video or graph or something. That will be pretty cool. Or when you have some demo,
graph would be,
I'd love.
a graph would be great. I have like a small video generated by an early version. I can like send that in Discord or here, but I don't know how.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can send it to me and I can share it.
Yeah, cool.
To everyone. So.
Yeah, we can watch it next week.
It's not
there,
a GIF. It's not system description. It's just what it looks like to generate a scene with that. It's from like a month ago.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, so I guess we can like just wrap this session up, and if anyone has some like final thoughts, so that now will be like a good time to throw them out.
Yeah, let's all have like our closing thoughts. All right, Nev, let's start with you. Closing thoughts after the discussion.
Yeah, closing thoughts. Well, everything is accelerating. There's a paper called Ways to Cope for Depressed AI Researchers, and the first section of the paper was called Just Give Up. Yeah.
Just give in, give in to the flow. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the real way to go about this. Just vibe.
Nice.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. Woo. Nev. Awesome. Yo, Gal. Yo, it's actually from Street Fighter. Remember Guile from Street Fighter? The American guy? Yeah.
I haven't played that game too much, but
Okay,
maybe I
bro.
need to check it out to get some inspiration.
Closing thoughts, man. Closing thoughts on AI.
Yeah, I mean, like as I said earlier, I think we are entering some kind of singularity moment where these models are gonna begin to recursively self-improve with things like AutoGPT and like giving tools to these models and so on. Like I think we will see a period of time where these models begin improving so many things that they then begin to improve themselves, and kind of like the whole idea of like accelerated improvement of technology. So I personally think that's very exciting. It's even better. Like I think we should make sure that we steer it in a good direction. But I think to do that we should discuss like what are the most exciting features we can imagine. So I'm all for doing that. And here, yeah, like I'm also very excited about like the future of 3D content generation in particular. So look forward to see more of that as well.
Woo! Yeah, Gil FX. Thanks, bro. Awesome. Really amazing. Singularity, here we come. Woo! Artific, closing thoughts for our wonderful viewers.
So, actually, one of the most exciting things about these past weeks for me was were the open source models that are really quite powerful. And even if OpenAI really has and for some time will have the most powerful model, then you can run on your own model. That's actually quite good, and it's on your private space. And even if your government, if you are in Italy, you to use ChatGPT, you can actually you can use the API, and but you can also install it just on your computer, and you can have it work for you like that. So I think that's cool. Also, that's sort of scary because that means that it's basically not possible to really stop it unless everyone would agree. Okay, we will not do this, and that's not gonna happen. Can't agree on anything these days. So yeah, but the democratizing factor I think is really something that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
That there are not going to be one or few companies that are just going to take over everything. Maybe going to be a little bit more companies that's going to take over everything. So closing thoughts.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, AI for all, baby. Yeah, Artific. Woo!
And just so, well, unless there's something more, I just wanted to say and we'll be back next Friday. So this will be like a regular event, and we will discuss different things every Friday, and also have different people invited, and like just try different cool worlds as well to host events. Actually, the next Friday and maybe the one after as well. I think we may have a bit of a mixed reality event because it's gonna overlap with an IRL event in London. But basically look forward for the announcements for future events. That's
awesome.
what I want to say.
Woo, yeah, AI Discussions, Immersed Minds, and Somnium Space. Thank you, wonderful viewers, for tuning in and finding out about all the awesome things going on. Remember, everyone, we'll see you on the other side of the monitor, and be sure to tune in next week for all the wonderful things happening in the metaverse. Verse. Woo, yeah. Woo,
Yeah, froze a little. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Woo, peace, everyone.
Oh yeah, the final picture. Yes.
Wait, yeah, picture. Good idea. I completely forgot. Yo, we need a picture, bro. Okay, guys. Yo.
Oh, should we?
No. Just stand there. Just stand.
Where?
Yeah, everyone, congregate around Artific. I'm gonna lock the camera, and the camera's here. Woo! Immersed Minds, baby. 1, 2, 3. AI.
Woo! AI.
Awesome event, guys. Really exciting stuff.
It was fun. Great job.
Well,
Marcus.
Yeah, it was really it was a
thank you
blast,
for
man.
making
Learned
the
a
world
lot.
and streaming and everyone for coming.
Yeah,
So,
woo. Oh,
yeah,
Nev
thank
left.
you.
I was
And
gonna
thank you
say
so much
bye.
for coming. Nev,
Oh,
as
there
well.
he is. Yo.
No, he's here.
Yo. Bro. It was a pleasure, man. It was a
thank
pleasure.
you. Oh yeah. Finally, it's working.
Yes, clap.
Awesome, guys. Yo, love you guys. I'm
yeah.
gonna call it a night, eh?
So see you later.
Yo,
What I
peace,
met.
peace.
Same.
Peace,
See you.
peace, peace. Have a
Peace,
great
man.
night, guys.
It was great to meet you.
Bye.